This is Scotty Reed with the Black Talk Radio News Report. Catch my regularly scheduled talk radio show, Black Talk Radio News, by going to blacktalkradionetwork.com. Check out the schedule there. But this is a special report. A article was published by the Huffington Post. The headline read, Hillary Clinton to be indicted on federal racketeering charges. Now, obviously, those who have been following Hillary Clinton's email scandal want to know. But the headline could be considered a little bit misleading or perhaps a prediction, because many people have been predicting based off of the evidence, the information that the public has been privy to, the information that's coming out through these RICO lawsuits and what have you. But for what is known, there's a strong case to indict Hillary Clinton. So it's really a prediction. But what was most peculiar, or perhaps not, the Huffington Post management decided to pull this very well-written article. The person who wrote the article, his name, let me find that for you right quick, is Frank Hugenard. I guess that's how you pronounce his name, Hugenard. But he laid out a great article, just based on the facts. I mean, he put it under headings, the arguments that he was making, that the FBI, based on the evidence, is seeing, and some people claiming to have inside sources, the FBI is close to indicting Hillary Clinton. We'll believe that when she's indicted. Obviously, the Clintons for many decades have been a slippery couple and able to escape repercussions from some of the things that they have been engaged in. People around them have been arrested, like if you go, and actually convicted and jailed. If you go to the Whitewater scandal they were involved with, they have been able to escape. So we're skeptical about the system actually practicing justice and hold Hillary Clinton to the same standard that even ordinary Americans are held to if they jaywalk. You know, shout out Michael Brown, allegedly jaywalked in the street. That's what we were told, and he was killed for that. So, you know, millions of tickets are written for people not obeying traffic signals and, you know, not staying in the crosswalk or, so, you know, riding bicycles on the sidewalk and what have you. But, you know, there are a class of criminals in the United States at the highest levels who do things, and they just seem to escape being held accountable the same way that millions of ordinary so-called Americans are. So anyway, this article, written, was pulled by the Huffington Post. So you can see here, if I click on the article, you're going to get a page. The Huffington Post 404. This is so embarrassing. Take me to the front page. Now, we don't know if the Huffington Post management pulled this article because they didn't want it to be contributing to anything that will inform people about Hillary Clinton's crimes. Let's just put it that way. They want to stay Clinton friendly and what have you. Or it could have been a bunch of Hillary Clinton supporters, trolls, you know, paid people by super PACs and what have you to flag articles so that they are pulled, and they may be restored later. I don't know. I know it happened to me when I published the article on the daily costs. A bunch of people, Hillary supporters, flagged it, and, you know, they banned me from posting on the daily cost when I just simply wrote a fact-based article talking about what a judge said in the civil case, the FOIA civil case that the Judicial Watch has filed against the State Department. And it was just a factual article, no opinion, nothing like that. And they banned me for that. So I asked for an explanation, and I was told by the staff of the Daily Cost is that, you know, they're trying to stay pro-Democrat in so many words, you know, just, you know, no good reason, obviously, to ban me. and accused me that, yeah, with some accusations that I was a right-wing troll or something like that, even though I had been a member of the Daily Cost community for 3 years, and anybody that knows me or listens to my program knows that I do not lean I do not lean to the right. I'm not a right-wing troll or anything like that. But what I'm also not is a drone-less black Democrat or anything like that. So I don't know if Huffington Post actually pulled this article or if a bunch of Hillary trolls, flagged it, and so now they got to take a look at it. But in either case, I do have the article. I copy and pasted it to my Facebook page, and I'm going to go through that article. Somebody doesn't want you to read. So anyway, the headline again is Hillary Clinton to be indicted on federal racketeering charges. Now, that could be a prediction. It doesn't mean that, someone in the FBI said that she's going to be indicted. He's just predicting. Now, so it says the Racketeer Influence and Corruption Organizations Act, also known as RICO, is a United States federal law passed in 1970 that was designed to provide a tool for law enforcement agencies to fight organized crime. Mostly the mob was targeted with RICO. RICO allows prosecution and punishment for alleged racketeering activity that has been executed as part of an ongoing criminal enterprise. Activity considered to be racketeering may include bribery, counterfeiting money, laundering, embezzlement, illegal gambling, kidnapping, murder, drug trafficking, slavery, and a host of other nefarious business practices, like private prisons, practicing slavery, and municipalities and legislatures working with these private prisons to put laws on the books to put black people and poor people into slavery. Again, on our program on the Black Talk Radio Network, New Abolitionist Radio, we did a Ferguson is America or America is Ferguson series, and we have found many practices that would apply, RICO could be applied to. So anyway, moving on. He goes on to write, James Comey and the FBI will present a recommendation to Loretta Lynch, Attorney General of the DOJ, that includes a cogent argument that the Clinton Foundation is an ongoing criminal enterprise engaged in money laundering and soliciting bribes in exchange for political policy and legislative favors to individuals, corporations, and even governments, both foreign and domestic. And there has been a lot written about this. This was a very well written article, by the way. Yeah, very well written article. And he had links, to other mainstream or considered reputable sources of news and political news and what have you. So he was linking to all these different reports. So he goes on to say that James Comey and the FBI will present a recommendation to Loretta Lynch, Attorney General of the DOJ, that includes a cogent argument that the Clinton Foundation I already read that. I'm sorry. But yeah, there's much been written about this. A lot of articles. I read an article, Saudi Arabian king gave Hillary Clinton $500,000 worth of jewelry and whatnot as a gift, and she accepted it. Countries, even this one country in Africa, applied for a permit at the State Department and had been turned down before. And once they made a donation to the Clinton Foundation later on, the weapons deal, which I believe involved chemical weapons, was approved. It was an African nation. I just forget which one. Individuals, corporate, there's much been written about this. So he's not making this up. All right. He, under the title, James Comey, the New York Times examined Bill Clinton's relationship with a Canadian mining financer, Frank Guestra, who has donated millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation and sits on his board. Clinton, the story suggests, helped his company secure a lucrative uranium mining deal in Kazakhstan, and in return received a flow of cash to the Clinton Foundation, including previously undisclosed donations from the company's chairman totaling $2.35 million. From Bloomberg Politics. Initially, Comey had indicated that the investigation into Hillary's homebrewed email server was to be concluded by October of 2015. However, as more and more evidence in the case has come to light, this initial date kept being pushed back as the criminal investigation has expanded well beyond violating State Department regulations to include questions about espionage, perjury, and influence peddling. Here's what we do know. Tens of millions of dollars donated to the Clinton Foundation was funneled to the organization through a Canadian shell company, which has made tracing the donors nearly impossible. Less than 10% of donations to the foundation have actually been released to charitable organizations, and $2 million that has been traced back to longtime Bill Clinton friend Julie McMahon, I believe, McMahon, AKA the Energizer. What he's talking about there is the name the Secret Service gave this middle-aged white woman who would visit Bill Clinton at his home whenever Hillary Clinton was not at home, and the Secret Service dubbed her the Energizer. So just some backstory on that. When the official investigation, it continues, into Hillary's email server began, she instructed her IT professionals to delete over 30,000 emails and cloud backups of her emails older than 30 days at both Platte River Networks and Datto Incorporated. The FBI has subsequently recovered the majority, if not all, of Hillary's deleted emails and are putting together a strong case against her for attempting to cover up her illegal and illicit activities. So, again, as Hillary Clinton was out there on the campaign trail lying, making jokes about wiping her server with a cloth, this is what was occurring. Certainly, a strong case is to be made based off the evidence, based off her own commentaries. Again, her IT guy, one of the IT guys, has already been given immunity by the FBI. Okay, and so, you know, this is in the public record. The AP, all the news reported on this, all right, about these emails being deleted and about her server being wiped, which simply means, you know, removing the information. But here's something that hasn't been focused on a lot. Since she was doing State Department business exclusively on her private email server, anybody who had access to that server, any part of the server, would have to have a proper security clearance. So, you know, Platte River Networks and Datto Incorporated, those are not they were not under any kind of contract with the State Department. Remember, the State Department didn't even know she was operating this. You know, what people did, but not the right people in charge of, you know, their security and all of that. They didn't know about this. So Platte River Networks, that all of their employees, their server, they will have to be, all their employees, managing their servers and what have you, and had access to her server and providing services, and they would have all had to have top secret security clearances. As we know, 22 emails definitely have been classified as top secret and above, and then, you know, possibly thousands more labeled secret or confidential or below. Let's continue. A conviction under RICO comes when the Department of Justice proves that the defendant has engaged in two or more examples of racketeering and that the defendant maintained an interest in, participated in, or invested in a criminal enterprise affecting interstate or foreign commerce. There is ample evidence already in the public record that the Clinton Foundation qualifies as a criminal enterprise, and there's no doubt that the FBI is privy to significantly more evidence than has already been made public. So again, you know, again, this isn't coming from, the headlines a little bit misleading, or people will misunderstand and think that the FBI has said, somebody's indicated that an indictment is coming down over this weekend or next week or anytime soon, or that's not. He's just laying out the case. He's making a legal argument, which I've heard a lot of people do, which, you know, just drives me crazy when I hear people defending Hillary Clinton, everybody's role in this, her inner circle and what have you, when it's just evident that this woman broke the law, that there's a conspiracy to keep this a secret, that she clearly violated the Federal Records Act, which is a federal law. That's not a civil law. People talking about civil and federal law. No, these are federal laws. If you break them, they're criminal. All right, these aren't like, civil laws. I don't even know what the heck some of these people are talking about when they say that. Now, let me continue to read. A conviction under RICO comes when the Department of Justice proves that the defendant has engaged in two or more examples of racketeering and that the defendant maintained an interest in, participated in, or invested in criminal enterprise. I already read that. Under RICO, the sections most relevant in this case will be Section 1503, Obstruction of Justice, again, deleting the emails, wiping the server, all of that. Section 1510, also failure to cooperate in the State Department's IG investigation, as came out in that report. She refused and instructed her staff. Well, I can't say she instructed her staff, but everybody refused to participate in the State Department investigation. And the only reason they're agreeing to sit down with the FBI is because the FBI can arrest them. All right, the State Department IG cannot, send agents, law enforcement officers over and arrest you and after obtaining a warrant, from a judge. So that's the only reason they're cooperating, and then they're being combative if we look at Cheryl Mills, or possibly a cover-up when Cheryl Mills stormed out of her meeting with the FBI saying we were not supposed to talk about emails, period. Well, what's the point? What is the point? And if anybody in the FBI agreed to such boundaries in an investigation into her email practices and saying we won't ask you any questions about this, about the email, that's just hard to believe. That's just ludicrous. Again, the cover-up could be there. So that's why I say be skeptical. Be skeptical. You can make all the sense, lay out the perfect legal argument, but there's a human element, and that is if the people who are conducting the investigation, the people who can bring forth the indictments, are people who believe in justice and upholding the law and applying it equally to everyone, or are they the political cronies of a very corrupt political system? Under RICO, it says let me continue to go down, okay? It is a federal crime. This pertains to our email handling. It is a federal crime to negligently handle classified information under United States Code USC 18, Section 1924. It is a federal Class A felony under USC 18, Section 798. Hillary certified under oath to a federal judge that she had handed over to the State Department all of her emails, which clearly she did not. Now, who did she certify under oath to? Is this possibly talking about the civil case where the Judicial Watch sued the State Department for records of Hillary Clinton's while she was at the State Department? And all of these people have now are supposed to testify. Some already have, with more damning revelations about Hillary Clinton and what have you, and the email thing. So Hillary Clinton possibly certified under oath, probably a deposition or something like that. She probably didn't take the stand or anything. I don't know. But said that she had handed over all State Department her State Department emails, because see, that's the subject of the FOIA. So she lied because now the State Department IG just revealed it found 2 more emails or 3 more emails related to the people who helped set up the server, and others are missing. So she lied to a federal court, to the federal judge, that she had handed over everything. So again, right there, we could just say case closed. She should be indicted. See, the whole system is on trial here, not just Hillary Clinton. It's going to prove it's going to do one or two things. They're either going to indict this woman for these clear violations and anybody else part of this conspiracy and give people hope for the future and instill faith in them or trust in the institution of the Department of Justice and the whole justice system and what have you, or they're just going to prove critics like me correct and that this is a system not built on any kind of justice. When whistleblowers stand up, they're prosecuted instead of the lawbreakers being prosecuted and what have you. So, you know, we could close the book right now. There's ample evidence. And so, again, let me go on. I'm going to jump ahead. It was a very well-written article. Again, she's certified under oath. Let's jump ahead. In spite of her repeated statements over a year on the campaign trail to the effect that everything that she did with her homebrew email server as Secretary of State was above board and approved by the State Department, the Inspector General report vehemently refused this claim. So again, she's still lying. She's still lying. Part of the cover-up, RICO charges and what have you. State Department said that the people responsible for security, Hillary, did not go to them. She went to them about trying to get a BlackBerry or something like that, and then she decided not to use the secure BlackBerry, continue to use her private BlackBerry. They gave her access to her private server that she was doing all State Department business on. Okay, she didn't ask nobody's permission. They didn't even know she had it. People responsible for responding to FOIA requests, Freedom of Information Act requests, like Judicial Watch was seeking, didn't even know Hillary had this. See? Goes on to say, Hillary refused to be interviewed by the Inspector General's office in their investigation, claiming that her upcoming FBI interview took precedent. But it seems more likely that Hillary is more concerned about committing perjury or admitting to anything that can be used against her in a court of law. So while she's saying everybody should participate and cooperate when, you know, Pagliano, whatever that young guy's name that the FBI gave immunity to, that set up the server for her. Okay. I'm sorry. There's just so much. I could go on and on and on and on. Yeah. Talking about, you know, she doesn't want to commit perjury. So I guess if you lie, she doesn't want to lie to another federal department, being her former employer, the State Department. She don't want to lie to them. So she's telling everybody not to talk to them. But now the spin they're putting on it, well, it's the FBI investigation that matters, you know. Well, again, they can arrest you if you don't. Issue a warrant and whatnot. There's no excuse for not participating in the State Department, your former employer. Everything was above board. Why didn't you participate in the investigation? How come this woman hasn't been indicted yet? Maybe, again, like the writer is saying, that this includes the Clinton's Foundation's activity and includes a whole bunch of individuals. We're talking about a big criminal operation right here. Gun running, all of that. Secretary Clinton should have preserved any federal records she created and received on her personal email account by printing and filing those records with the related files in the office of the secretary. At a minimum, Secretary Clinton should have surrendered all emails dealing with department business before leaving government service, and because she did not do so, she did not comply with the department's policies that were implemented in accordance with the Federal Records Act. That's not a civil law. That is a criminal law. There are criminal penalties for not adhering to this law. And this nonsense that Senator Dianne Feinstein, I think she's retiring. If not, she needs to resign, because she's out there as a super delegate for Hillary Clinton, a surrogate, talking about all she wanted to do was keep her email private. Resign now, Miss Feinstein. Go, just go. Because what you're doing is promoting criminality, What you're doing, in the very least, is, people shouldn't be held accountable for not following the rules and what have you. Your judgment is terrible, so resign. So I'm gonna stop it there. There's about 2 more paragraphs. Let's try and see if they restored the article. Still, the Huffington Post has not restored that article. Hope they are not engaging in censorship like Facebook has been accused of doing against conservatives. And again, I'm not a conservative. Now, I didn't say anything, put out anything, but the conservatives that's complaining about Facebook, look, I'm not a conservative. If you got to classify me, just call me a person who believes in human rights. All right. Some people call that progressive, what have you. I'm not a conservative. I'm an objective person, and I try to operate that way as a radio presenter as well, and a writer. I operate from there. I have no allegiance to anyone, okay? But when the articles and stories that we put out and shared on Facebook, they've been suppressed too. That's critical of Hillary Clinton. They've been suppressed too. So it's not targeting conservatives. It's targeting anything that's anti-Hillary Clinton is what I would say or allege has been targeted for suppression. So I don't know if there is something going on with Facebook and the Hillary Clinton campaign. They have some kind of agreement. I can't report on that, but it has been alleged. At least that's what conservatives are alleging. So again, I just don't. Hillary Clinton, if she was a woman of integrity or what have you, she would just drop out now. Superdelegates, your judgment is on the line. Are you going to tell America and the children of America that people can commit crimes and get away with them and not be held accountable? And we want a person of such character to become the next CEO of USA Inc. Come on now. Superdelegates, you need to just abandon Hillary Clinton or go down with her. And I'm saying to all the voters out there, if there are any elected officials in your district that supporting Hillary Clinton, even after all of this information has come out about her obvious violations of federal statutes, violations of State Department rules, lying to the public for an entire year, on and on and on. If you have somebody that's elected representative still endorsing Hillary Clinton right now, they need to be voted out of office. At the very least, they have bad judgment. And at worst, they are co-conspirators of Hillary Clinton. They have a decision to make. All right, this has been Scotty Reed with this Black Talk Radio News Special Report. Make sure you check out my regular talk radio program on Black Talk Radio Network. You can find out more on the website, and make sure that you also support independent black media. Support all independent media. You should definitely do that. But we are black, and our target demographic is black people. All our black radio stations have been taken due to legislation supported by the Clintons in the 1990s, that 1996 Telecommunications Act. So we are trying to rebuild a independent black news media network using internet radio, digital radio, and other forms of media to so that we can more clearly better inform our people. Because a lot of people, like the masses, are misinformed. And that's why you see so many black people who have voted for Hillary Clinton. They were terribly misinformed. They are a victim of her media operations. All right, this is Scotty. Peace and blessings to all.